Hello and welcome everybody. We have the global lab patch notes for June 19th. We got quite a bit of stuff to go through. So this update, they want to focus on adjusting classes that performed well beyond their intentions. So pretty much there's going to be a few nerfs coming in. And we're going to start out with the Awakened Berserker. It is a class that can deal high damage by repeatedly comboing skills into flow split shot. However, the long cooldowns on other skills made it difficult to maintain a smooth combo in PA size. So the damage of the skills used to fill these gaps was lacking. With this update, they've added more options to combo into the flow split shot, significantly reducing the cooldown of the Ancient Wave and increasing the damage of Devastation and the Slugfest to help maintain his damage output even when slow split shot is unavailable. Additionally, the defensive effects of blasting have been improved to help him secure the increased all AP more effectively. So going into that, we have explosives. A frontal guard effect has been added to that skill. A stun effect on successful hit has been changed to PVE only, and accordingly you can use the explosive strike skill that the stun effect will apply on the first hit in PvP. And it has been changed that the character rotates along with the camera only up to the attack animation. Then we have the Flow Ancient Waves, which got mentioned. Cooldown has been changed from 13 to 7 seconds. The specialization stage has been changed from stage 3 to 2. Ground lifting, the animation of returning to the idle stance after a specific skill has been modified to look more natural. The Flow Nanta, flow after using skills, added to allow linking into split cannon skills. And then we have the Flow Earth Destruction. It has been improved to seamlessly connect with the explosion technique, explosion skill after the skill, and the damage has been changed to apply as a standalone damage amount based on the level of devastation. Accordingly, the damage of devastation has been increased. Speaking of that, we have the Flow Nanta. The damage is going up by 600% on the first hit, first 9 hits, and the last hit is going up by roughly 900 as well. 600 and 900, 3,600 on the last hit, with a PvP application of 44.85. Devastation is going up from 6,200 to 7,200, so a 1,000% increase roughly, with the application rate dropping from 31% to 26.78. Then we have Maehwa. Awakened Maehwa wasn't able to deal Pedal Drill's full damage while only using its extra attack. To address this, they've moved Pedal Drill's extra attack to Tenacious Edge, allowing it to be used more independently, and a few other changes. So Frost Flame, the additional strike, has been removed. This animation has been moved to the animation of Persistent Spear Blade, and the cooldown of the skill has been changed to 5 seconds. Then we have the Tenacious Spearhead mentioned. Super Armor has been added. The stun effect on successful hit has been changed to PvE only. You can still get it if you use the Persistent Blade skill. The cooldown of the skill has been changed from 3 to 5 seconds based on, level 4. When used consecutively, the cooldown is applied immediately after the first attack, and the timing of when the reuse cooldown is applied has been changed. So it was after 6 stabbing motions before, and now it's after 3. The timing of linking into the New Year's Eve skill has also been changed so that it is only possible after all attacks have been applied. The health recovery effect has been removed. The additional hit of the Frost Flame skill has been changed to the lower thrust of the Persistent Blade skill. The low thrust attack is triggered by left clicking after using the skills Frost Flame, Frost Flower, and Moonlight Rush, and Tip of the Iceberg. The attack range of the lower thrust has also been adjusted to match the animation. It has also been changed that the critical hit chance is not applied during cooldown, and the amount of fighting spirit recovered has been changed from 15 to 40 at max level of the skill, and they fixed an issue where the fighting spirit was not restored in general on successful hits. And then finally we have the small damage change on the Persistent Blade. It's going up from 1,600 times 3 to 6,000 times 1. We have a maximum of 2 hits going to 3 hits, so overall a fairly equal trade-off. Slight increase overall. The PvP application is being adjusted though, so 45.5 turning into 31.5. Then they're talking about Hashashin, so they've expanded a number of skills that grant the AP increase buff on Hashashin's Succession, allowing him to maintain his buff more consistently. Additionally, although Prime's All Breath was designed to make up a large portion of his combo's damage, it had a long cooldown and was difficult to fully utilize the Sam Twister's damage. To address this, they have reworked the mechanics of All's Breath and shifted a portion of its damage to the Hashashin Shamshir skills and increased their damage output. So we have the Breath of All, both Jin and, well, the regular one and the Prime version. A Sand Tornado is generated when the ability is used. It no longer moves to find nearby enemies immediately after creation. However, the Sand Tornado's random movement remains. The Sand Tornado is generated when using the Hourglass of the Fallen, Massacre, and Dry Raid skills move to the target location still. The moving Sand Tornadoes also meet other nearby sand tornadoes and grow into a larger one. Depending on the growth stage, it can inflict up to the following damage. So when reaching stage 3, it strikes nearby enemies up to the maximum number of hits at that location and then disappears. So here we have the damage, step 1 through 3. So it starts at 800% with max 12 hits. It then goes to 1200 with max 12 and 1840 on max 12 hits on the step 3. The PvP application remains the same across all 3 steps. We have 59.67 applying. Then we have obviously the mentioned AoS command. So an effect has been added that increases the all attack power by plus 20 for 10 seconds when using a skill. This is identical to Hours of the Fallen Death, Golden Rooster Throw, and Head Kick. And then we have a lot of PvE damage application changes. So we have the Hourglass of Destiny going up to 6,955 with the PvP application of 42.77 to balance it. Then we got the Haul Down skill going up a 400% to 3,700. The explosive damage going up the similar amount to 3,800. The normal hit has a PvP application of 44.89 and the explosive of 58.3. AoS command is going up a tiny bit in damage, less than 100% in across the board, it seems, and 400 on the final hit. So the first and second hit, 2,890, and then the final hit going for 6,516. PvP application going from 38.19 to 36.27. Blade of Revelation is going up by around 300 to 4,444. Explosive damage going up by 400 as well to 300 to 5,424. PvP application is dropping to 44.9 for both. Area Division is going up a bigger chunk to 5,700 on the first hit. Explosive damage is going up to 6,200. And the PvP application dropping down hard, 41.02. AoS Domain is going up by roughly 400% to 6,700. PvP application is dropping by 2 to 26.85. Brutal Killing is going up a bigger chunk again, so up to 8,200, with the PvP application dropping around 2% to 90.3. Ridge Cutting is going up by around 400%, 8,955. PvP application is dropping by 2-ish%, or less than 2 to 32.87. The Called Blade is going up from 4,000 to 4,700. PvP application dropping by almost 8% to 41.83. Similar going up 1,000% to 4,100. PvP application is dropping a whole 9% to 31.2 to balance. The Advent of the Apostles is going up from 8,750 on both hits to 10,045. PvP application is dropping around 5% to 31.8. Then we have the Piercing Blade Whirlwind finally, going from 3,200 to 4,004. PvP application is dropping by 8% roughly to 32.97. With that, it's pretty much PvE increases, PvP should be the same. Then we have Awakened Nova being mentioned. So they eased the issue where skill cooldowns became misaligned during the acceleration, making our combo difficult to perform. Instead, the Star's Breath recovery effect from Slicing Ring has been combined into Fuse Gravity to maintain the same level of Star's Breath recovery in PvE. The recovery amount has also been adjusted, and additionally, the pulling effect of the stars summoned was slightly excessive. That is an understatement. So this effect has been adjusted. I do hope that that has gotten lowered a tiny bit, but we'll see. So with the ring that cuts off, the cooldown of the skill has been changed from 10 to 8 seconds. When using the skill, the 10% recovery effect has been transferred to the Gravity Fusion skill. Accordingly, the Star Breath recovered when absorbing a star with the Gravity Fusion has been changed from 15 to 25. Following Star Fragments, the cooldown has been changed from 10 to 8 seconds, at least at the highest level of the skill. Star Ring, when stars fuse, they now create a stronger gravitational pull over a wider area, after which the stars disappear without leaving anything behind. Then, so pretty much, it seems they're increasing the pull if they do get fused. That is a nice way of handling it. Royal Swordsmanship, Speed, Acceleration, and the General Speed. So an effect has been added that restores plus 30 of the Star Breath, most likely. Then we have the crossed orbits and accelerated crossed orbits. When using a skill from the front, the time the character can rotate has been increased. Finally, the recovery amount of the Star's Breath has been changed. So here we can see Cruel Ring going from 1.7 to 1.6. Royal Swordsmanship Speed going from 1.6 to 2%. Falling Star Fragments going from 2.1 to 4. Cross Trajectories going from 0.8 to 1% per hit. PVE damage, there's not too much going on. Royal Swordsmanship Speed is getting a tiny increase of 300 on the first 2 hits. The third hit as well going up by 300 to 4,654. And then we finally have the PvP application dropping by around 3% to 35.9. The acceleration Royal Swordsmanship Speed is going up by 300, so 3,900 will be the end with a application of 31.15. And then we have the freezing ring finally going up by 600% to 6,880. PP application dropping 3% to 29.5. Moving on, Woosa was a big winner recently. Now she will be counter hit again. It's kind of a back and forth in this case, but it is PvE damage being adjusted. She's going from 6,100 to 5,400. Second hit going from 12,250 back down to 10,800. I would need to dig up the old numbers. I think it is higher than the previous numbers, but it is a little bit down again. PvP application sitting at 27.75 going up and 38.86 going up. The Four Gentlemen's Plum Blossom also going down again, 500% to 5,400. PvP application going up to 34.4 to balance it. The Orchid going down. This is kind of the trend on Woosa this time around. Going down by 600 to 5,600. PvP application going to 31.5. The Four Gentlemen Country skill going from 12,600 to 10,800 again. PvP application going up by 3%. The Bamboo going down as well by 500 to 4,000%. PvP application sitting at 46.95 going up. The Death Whip is going down by 400% as well to 3,500. And then finally, the Butterfly Stone is going down by 500 on the first hit to 4,440. The Spinning Strike damage is going to the same level. And then we have the PvP application setting at 35.38. Maegu, just like Woosa, is getting hit with the ugly stick again. Fox Spirit play on the Succession is going down by 500% to 6,600. PvP application going up to 39.85. Flower Viewing Team, pretty sure that's not the name of the skill, but the 13,600 is dropping hard to 11,600 again. We have a PvP application going up by 5% roughly to 30.39. The Crater skill getting hit hard as well, going down to 12,065. PvP application going up to 29.46 again. Ghost Whirlwind getting hit hard with about a 2,500 drop to 7,400 on the first hit. Second hit dropping by 2,000 to 6,000. And the PvP application going up to 26.91 again. The Flower Mark getting hit a little less, 400% down on the first hit to 3,200. The second hit's losing about 700 to 6,500%. And the PvP application going back up to 16.21. The Lantern skill, this one's getting hit hard again, all 1,900 down, so 7,370 on the first and second hit. The other one dropping by roughly the same amount to 8,700. PvP application going back up by 221.38. Terrified skill dropping 1,300 to 5,700. Similar drop, just 1,000% drop on the second hit to 4,815. PvP application going up to 15.5. Claw Scratching, the first 2 hits are getting dropped by 400 to 2,150. The third hit is getting dropped by 700% to 4,300. PvP application going up to 39.05. Dance of the Heavenly Way going down by 1,000 on the first hit to 4,002. The second hit damage dropping by 1,500 to 6,000. PvP application going up to 32.81. And then we have the Lament skill. The hit damage is dropping to 7,300 with the application going up to 36.5. So first they buff, then they nerf. We've gotten kind of used to that, and it's going to continue with Dosa. So we have the Cloud Encirclement pretty much dropping from 7,300 to 6,600 again. PvP application going up to 32.39. Flow Blind Man dropping 800% to 7,160. PP application going up to 30.4 again. Upward Cut is going down by, that's 1,300 to 7,300%. Damage application going back up to 31.7. Two Crosscuts dropping by 600% to 6,400 on both hits. PP application going back up to 33.79. Fog Splitting getting hit by 700% on the first two hits to 5,900, and it's dropping a little bit more by 900 on the third hit to 7,590. Damage application for the first two hits is going back up to 25.9, and the final hit going back up to 60.87. Cumulus Clouds is getting hit by 300% drop to 3,200. PP application going up by 3% to 30.05. Spring Frost getting hit down to 3,700 on the first hit, 10,700 on the second hit. PP application going up to 38.9 and 28.7 respectively. Autumn Lightning going up to down to 2,188. Second hit damage going down to 11,100 from 11,900. PP application going up again, 28.3, 38.05 on the second hit. Winter Shower going down to 2,900 on the first hit, second hit going down to 8,700. Split PvP application again, so we have the 37 on the first hit and the 33 going up, up to 33.7 on the second hit. Taeguk down, just like the trend has been, on the first hit by 100% to 4,200. The second hit getting hit a little bit harder to 11,200. PP application going up to 37.79 and 38.64 respectively. Morning Fog dropping by 1,100 roughly to 9,097, with the application going up back to 21.6. And then we have the Four Seasons dropping by 600% to 2,600 on the first hit. Second hit going to 11,289. PvP application going up to 44.4 and 32.29 respectively. And with Woosa, Maegu, and Dosa, we have Deadeye pretty much getting adjusted again as well downwards. The mobile firing is going down by 300% on live ammunition. PP application balance to 35.4. Marnie rounds going down 300% as well to 3,361. PP application of 35.43. The Bloodbath being adjusted by 600% on the live ammunition to 5,200. PP application going up to 24.3. Marnie rounds dropping by 600 as well. 4,700 is going to be the final damage. PvP application of 24.12. Starlight Fireworks, the first and second hit is dropping down to 13,500 from 15,000. PP application going back up to 29.42. No change on the Marnie rounds. And then we have finally Bullet Storm in that case. A drop down to 5,600. PP application going up to 25.29 on the live rounds. And the Marnie rounds dropping as well to 4,950, with the PvP application going up to 25.29. With that, we have some general class modifications. So Sorcerer, they improved an issue with the Dream Destruction skill, would not activate when using Night Raven, and the Dark Shard while low on stamina. I think this is Lawn. They fixed an issue where the attack box of the Lightning Burn skill was applied differently from the animation. Or that might be Sage, but Sage is usually written differently. Either way, we continue. We have Maehwa. They fixed an issue with the minus 20% damage reduction was applied using the Gatsu skill during cooldown. Maehwa as well. They fixed an issue with the first attack of the Howell-chan could not be changed into a pursuit skill after a certain point. Then there was an issue with the subsequent activation method was applied differently depending on whether the snowball was acquired and when holding down the control key for the snowball skill. I believe that's Woosa. They fixed an issue with the PvP damage of the Butterfly Whirlwind skill was applied higher than that of the stronger version. The PvP damage application of the Butterfly Whirl skill is changed from 53.13 to 37.1. Surprised they didn't add it in the top. They fixed an issue with the Chain Immortal step would activate first when W shift was pressed after using the Tiger Butterfly skill on the luxury ship state. I think that's the gentleman state. Dosa, they fixed an issue where the knockback effect was not displayed during the skill demonstration of the kick. And they fixed an issue where the animation flowed awkwardly when chaining Dawn Mist after Diagonal Slash, Tail Slash, Mist Cloud, or Dense Fog. And then Hashashin strength, they fixed an issue where the damage of the Breath of All skill was displayed differently from the actual damage. Then we have the Solar Spear regular season ending. So they pretty much say thank you for all the people that joined. Solar Spear will be concluding with the following rewards. So we have the Solar Grade 10 kg gold bars, Cronstones 2000, and Solar Token. And then we have the general Glory of Spear rank as well. Cronstones of 1000, going down to 500 on the purple. And then we have the red one dropping down, well, losing the Cronstones, but getting still 500 tokens. Pretty much some Trace of Lightning for the upper ranks. And the Apprentice Soldier. Also, when opening the Immortal Perfume selection box, you can select the following below. So you can get Perfume of the Deep, Enchantment, Courage, or Calc, or Insight. Free choice. You will also be getting the guide to the titles for the ranks, so you get your colored titles again. If you are in the top 100, you will get the Knight of the Sun outfit until the next season, and the title as well. Actually, I think you get the title permanently now, but you get the title in next season. That is a nice little thing. I guess I was always a bit up in the air. 1000 Cronstones, 20 Corrupted Immortal Oils, 30 Perfume Bottles, Calc Perfumes, and some general Elixirs of Harmony humans and such for the winners there. The class transition changes for the tag event is going to switch to Sage and Hashashin. Then we have a small thing on the Star of Nostos. There will be a visual effect being added to the campsite. Here you can see it with like a sort of constellation setup above it. Then we have the description of some items being improved. Descriptions of items that lacked sufficient explanation pretty much includes Explorer Compasses, Black Spirit Claw Shards, empty bottles of different sorts, some tools, nothing too crazy, and the summoning items like the Forbidden Book and Manshaum Sorcerer Dolls, and also some examples on the fragments. They also fixed some issues where items were incorrectly classified when viewing categories in the bag. This should be fixed as well. Then we have small improvements to the Edania boss hunting rewards. Nothing too crazy. Pretty much they're adding Kaffir stones and extra gold bars into the boxes across the board. Here we can see, depending on the boss you're currently at, you're going to be getting a few more Kaffir stones and a good chunk more gold bar boxes. In the case of Kaffirs, it's pretty much going from 1.5 to 3.1. That, actually, no, that is a 4. Yeah. That rounds up, so it should be 4. Overall, it's just looking pretty decent. There is another change with the Edania challenge tokens. So with the weekly quest, they're changing it that you can choose the token or the gold bar box. This means that if you cannot usually sell it due to you needing to step away immediately and it timing out, you will now be able to choose the Edania token if you want a challenge, or you just go for the 3 gold bars, which equals the 30 mil that you would get for selling it. Improvements to item acquisitions as well in some content and hunting grounds. So for some reason, they really want us to do the Manshaum dolls, even though it is just not lucrative. Or it doesn't feel lucrative most of the time. But they are trying to increase the drop rate for the Sturdy Forest thread from defeating Nark Brishka. Either way, we have the quantity of Maehwa fragments from Yolunakea dungeon box being increased from 10 to 40. That's a few more... well, bit more gold. And otherwise, they're also changing it to add the Manshaum Shaman dolls at a specific probability from defeating certain mobs at Ash Forest, Gyfin Razia Temple, both below and above. And there is information on the Manshaum dolls being added to Gyfin Razia Temple and Ash Forest. Acquisition location has also been added, and the chance of obtaining the Voodoo dolls from Decay and Murmok Ruins has been increased by 16.5. And here we have the details on the rewards. So among the rewards for defeating Nark Brishna, who appears when summoning the Manshaum dolls, at stage 5, the probability of the Tusk Forest thread has been doubled compared to previous. Still not sure if that's actually enough. Then we have the last Gladios, Heart of Adamagia. The difficulty is being reduced a little bit, so it has been improved that defeating Illustrious Black Illusions in the final Gladios now applies a defense reduction debuff on the Heart of Adamagia. Black illusions are summoned at 90, 70, 50, and 30%, and if you defeat it, a defense reduction is applied to the heart for 50 seconds. Then we have some changes for the Shadow Knights intermittently not appearing at Zephyrus Castle Hunting Grounds. So when Beelzebub appears in the Zephyrus Castle Hunting Grounds, Zephyrus Shadow Knights currently in combat will no longer be immediately defeated, and a significant reduction in defense will now be applied. The Shadow Knight Zephyrus with reduced defenses applied has been changed so that a Shadow Priest does not spawn upon defeat, and in the Zephyrus Castle Hunting Ground, the number of monsters appearing at once has increased by approximately 10% during the gimmick, where surrounding monsters are defeated. Black Shrine Solo has been updated, so you can definitely obtain the Essence of Dawn boxes as loot. This is going to be added to the difficulty 9 and 10, Duokshini and Odokshini, so you have a guaranteed acquisition of 1 or 2 Dawn chests. Pirate Island has also been newly added to the Hunting Ground information UI. This should be Kuit Island. To standardize the types of effect and monsters appearing in the Hunting Ground, the Cox Warrior status effect has been changed from Bound to Knockback. There's also some of the titles up there. They have also, quest and knowledge-wise, deleted the Balanos past main quest, so that will no longer be available. So all old main quests will be removed with the exception of the Breaker of Chains. All main quests in the Balanos quests have been removed with the exception of the currently available main quest, and accordingly, characters currently progressing will be able to proceed starting from the first quest, the one who breaks the chains of vengeful spirits, regardless of their progress. Then we have a small little change. They're reducing the difficulty of crafting the Donkey Krogdalo gear. So some quest objectives and rewards in Papagranea and Grandina have been changed. Accordingly, some quest titles have also been changed. So we have some title changes there, nothing too crazy. If you have already accepted the existing quest, you will need to proceed. You can proceed with the changed one. If you have already met the completion conditions, the completion status will be maintained and you can obtain the changed reward. So we have, for example, instead of 3 Sorrel, you just need a green fish. It will give you 5 Peridot Leaves and 3 Wanderers, Lamut coins. Same thing for the health management, going from 1 to 3. The bigger thing later on, barter 4 times or deliver supplies to Papakranea's Ben Lamut. We see the rainbow fish coins being tripled as well, or wildflower petals, whichever one you're taking. Same thing for the defender fish, steal the otter fish tribe fish. So 1 green fish, rainbow fishbone coin going up to 3 instead of 1. We see the same thing on the patrol from 1 to 3. Pretty much this is going across the board among all dailies that are in there, including the clever dolmen crab. Overall, oh, I accidentally refreshed. Let me jump back down. Oh no, it accidentally opened a different one. The description of the following items have also been changed to be improved. So we have the 1-day transformation scrolls, the coins, rainbow, bones and petals, the shapeshifter summons, the colorful pebbles, flowers filled with proper sincerity, and dried fish made within sea otter's care. Oh, come on, don't do this to me. It just opened it on a separate page. Boss information or UI, we have some my info. The following description has been added to the bottom of the log. Only the actions currently on the logged in character are recorded. A button has been added to open the fish encyclopedia fishing UI. Then we have some boss information. Awakening weapon boxes have been added to the main reward information for the field bosses. Cowardly Beg, Red Nose, and Dim Tree Spirit. I do like the translation Stupid Tree Spirit. When tracking ecological knowledge, the tracking color has also been modified to take precedence over subjugation quests. Then we have improvements of the central market item categories. This is a small thing, but it can be quite nice. So before change, seeds and fruits were all joined together. Now seeds, fruits, vegetables, and grains are separated. That is a small little change, pretty much changing it from 8 to 11 subdivided. And they're also breaking down the cooking into cooking and special dishes. That should be covering the hearty meal and assorted kimchi and such. And with that, we're on the fixes and changes. So they fixed an issue with the exclusive animation would play before transitioning to combat stance in the final Gladius. They also fixed an issue where grass and trees were floating in the area of around Varantir village. They fixed some issues where the voice of Duokshini and the dialogue displayed on the screen did not match. Solo Shrine Boss, they fixed an issue where Duroxini would teleport unnaturally after certain attacks. Then they fixed an issue with the Clever Dolmen Crab could be completed without disguising yourself. They fixed an issue with the completion gauge was visible when upgrading the Reinforced Flame Tower or the Hawacha Tower in base battles and Node Wars. Then the improvements have been made so you can check whether a penalty has been applied in the match history UI when the AFK penalty is applied in AoS, pretty much for next season. The default secondary weapon provided upon character creation can now be exchanged using the secondary exchange voucher. They fixed an issue with the Light of the Desert item could not be obtained from rewards for server-specific skill contributions below top 20 when defeating World Boss Garmoth. Items that were not obtained will be provided after the fix. Ataraxian, during the battle with the Centilutus, I think, in Seeker's Cradle, the direction has been improved to better highlight the difference in power sources appearing alongside Bearer. They fixed some issues with the the Black Saint title upon defeating the Orzekia could not be acquired. Then they fixed some issue with the device transporting you to Seeker's Garden after defeating the Sakurai boss was intermittently not working. In Yolunakea, the 2 euros cradle button for combining the daggers has been changed to be displayed at the top. Took them long enough. The issue with the item description for the Ale Village Worker contract was displayed as Endless... Ailton Village Worker contract was displayed as Endless Winter Mountain instead of Ailton has been fixed. Then there was an issue with bushes from Oze's Pass were awkwardly placed. Then we have some damage from the Bipe Stone Cannon was being applied abnormally. Then they fixed some issue with skill specializations did not appear to change when changing skills in the skill window. Then they fixed some issue with the incorrect message pop-up appeared when registering for the sale of the same item that was sold without a value pack. And then we have 2 pad mode fixes. One where the structure diagram related to a large sailing ship was displayed when entering the ship expansion window. Key guide was missing or showing wrong information. And then they fixed an issue where the sales window would appear immediately after selecting a stacked item and entering the quantity in warehouse item sales. TLDR, central market being broken down a little bit more. That doesn't hurt. It's just categories. And we're jump back again. Oh. The Krogdalo being made much more available is definitely a really nice thing. Then we have the changes up here for the for Kuit Island. It's great to at least get it recognized. Changes on Zephyrus. They could be nice. Gonna have to see. Making the final Gladios easier is quite nice in general. For most people, it's going to be a bit faster. The Manshaum dolls, I really don't know if that's going to be actually changing it. Then we have the change on the Edania token. That's really nice. And then finally, the general reward increases are also great. Description changes. Star of Nostos visually, I do hope it's a general visual change. And not just for you, but that would be actually kind of nice. And the AoS rewards seem decent for those that pushed. And otherwise, the changes, it's kind of funny. They buffed these 4 classes, now they're giving them nerf again. I mean, we've kind of come to get used to it. The Nova changes are a little bit interesting, but we're going to have to see how that applies. Same thing for the Hashashin ones, and Maehwa and Berserker. And with that, I wish you the best of luck, and I'll hopefully see you around.